So now we're in Lightroom, and I'm going to go ahead and start editing this photo. Now, the one thing I'm going to say right away, there was not one shot that was absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to attempt to do is combine several of these images. I have this shot, which I really like because of all this kind of chaos going on right here, and then definitely this. I love that you can see the rocks falling, so I'm going to actually add that in also and do some Photoshop for that. So now that I have all my photos in Lightroom, I have this one right here, and this one I really like because it has these little droplets. Now I'm not going to use anything else because as you can see right here, it's all blurry. But these like 6 or so little drops are perfect, and it's going to add that extra little detail to the shot to make it pop. We have this one, which I really like because it has this kind of explosion to the side, and it's a little out of focus, but that's okay. It also has these little specks up here, which looks pretty cool. And then the final one is sick because it has all of this kind of the chaos one, like I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna choose a base layer because I like the kind of the chaos one. This will be my base layer. So I'm gonna go over here, hit unlock, and just so it's better organized, I'm gonna move it all the way to the end. And then the droplets I'll do last. So I'll move that one over there. So then we have this one. I want to use this, so I'm going to hit unlock, and I'm going to go ahead and Command C, just copies it, go back to this one, and paste it. So right away, it's not going to be the perfect or the same angle because I did not shoot this on a tripod. So I'm going to go to opacity and bring it down a bit, just so I can better see it. And I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I don't know how to do it. You got to edit, transform, scale, and here you can kind of move it around. And I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to try to match this up perfectly. Now that we have that done, I'm gonna go ahead and combine this last photo over here, which just has this kind of side splurge, I guess you could call it, with little drops. I'm not gonna use this thing right here because it's too out of focus. Actually, no, because that'll be too distracting. You know, I don't want too much chaos. I want like one little splurge, geyser, one little geyser over here to be there, but not two. But I want those dots, like I said. So same thing, unlock, copy, go over to this bad boy, paste, and I'm gonna have it, oh, it's on the top, just because you can move these layers around really easily, but I do want it on the top. Opacity, drop that sucker so I can see it, and then same thing, we're gonna kind of line it up, and then use the eraser tool to just kind of get rid of it. Okay, so I just came to the realization that if we have this kind of geyser right here coming up, all these little droplets coming up the other side, it might not make sense. So instead, I'm actually gonna horizontal flip this image. That way, all the little apple juice bubbles are actually flying up on this side, which will make more sense because the geyser is on that side. So it's the same thing, edit, transform, go to flip horizontal. There it is, woohoo! Now let's go ahead and line that up. Now as we can see, it's very subtle, but I mean, if I put this layer at the top, this is what it originally looked like, and all that work definitely paid off because now we have just more texture. So now, of course, we gotta go add the rocks. So if we hop back over to Lightroom, I have several rock falling choices. So we have those falling, which are super blurry, or we have those higher up, which I think that just totally looks like a Peter McKinnon thing, is to use that frame. I don't know why, but we can use several. I'm gonna have to break them up because I don't want all three to be falling very similar. So what I'll probably do is I'll have like this one way up here and these two way further down. I think I'm gonna use both. Back pop. We have the two falling rocks photos, and basically I'm just gonna combine them to a way that I think would be unique. So I've kind of run into a situation where there's one here, and one here. These two are a little too close. I don't want them in one big long line because I think that might look kind of silly, but I don't want them all like balled up in one, so I kind of spread them out a little bit. So I'm gonna do the extra work of taking this, I'm actually gonna copy it and do like a second one. Take this out, check this out, ta-da! Okay, then we go back to this one, and we go, ta-da! Oh! See, I think this looks dope, but I honestly just kind of want to, dude, I can move these intricately. This is why I love Photoshop, oh my gosh. Hey, look at that. And down there in the bottom right, you can see this line. So every once in a while, you got to check to make sure none of that crap is there, because obviously it's distracting, like my hair. This one looks sick. So this one's going to go further down. This one's going to stay up here. Now that looks dope. Yo, what's up? Tell me what you think.
That looks really sick.
Look, I'm recording on my camera too. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of my custom presets. Excuse some of the presets. Some of them are really funny. Some of them are really stupid. I was kind of angry when I wrote a couple of them because Lightroom was crashing. So, for example, poop. Whoa, poop looks sick! That one's pretty sick. I think I'm actually going to go with this one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make it for Instagram, which is a 4x5. You always want to leave increasing exposure to last, but I just can't see much. Texture, clarity, dehaze is always like the last thing I do. So we're going to put these at 0. Highlight these with the brush tool, but I'm going to increase this way too much. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight them. So then that way after I highlight them, I can decrease the exposure and then mess around with the colors and know that it's like right here along this line. Put this back at 40 because that's where it was. Now we can go to the brush, select it, press O again on the keyboard to get rid of it. And now we can mess with just those a lot more clearly. Now we have that, and so far, that is pretty schwanky. Before and after. Oh my gosh, there's so much bubbles. I want to like do a close-up. I could probably like crop in and then show a close-up of that because this just looks so sick. The last thing I wanted to add is that I think I can use a radial filter to just make this whiskey glass punch and pop a little bit more. There has to be some sort of main focus. Click that and just do, it's always a circle, you can't make it a square, but you're just gonna kind of pop it in here and then press O on your keyboard to make sure, and right now it's everything else but the one I want. Go over here, scroll down, click invert, then boom. This is now selected. You can mess with the feather to make it like super sharp. I always like increase that feather quite a bit so it's a little bit more even. Hit O on the keyboard again. We're just gonna really crank that clarity slider, and then we're gonna use texture and do that a little bit more. And then to top it all off, I'm gonna give it just that last little bit of contrast, which is just gonna, look at that. Before, after, before, after, before, after, before, after. Okay, I'm done. And that's the completed image. I love it. This is before. Looks pretty simple, not too bad, it's a great starting point. Then we go over here, after all the Photoshop, combining 5 or 6 images I think is what I did. We get this, then we're gonna go ahead and do the color grade, the preset, all that fancy stuff, and we get that. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. We got Ulysses over here. Do you have anything else you want to say before we close up this video?
I should have won the last bet.
Nope. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm turning up the ISO as we go. Bye.